All right, move over OhSnap. We have a new thinnest grip in town. This upstart, brand new, super thin grip by a company, a little known company called PopSocket.
What?
That's right. PopSocket put out a completely new sort of profile for them. One thing to note is that it is not actually a PopSocket. You cannot pop the top off. There is no interchangeability. There is no ecosystem that you are buying into or out of here. So there is that for better or for worse. But more importantly, it is, as OhSnap would say, stupid thin. This is 2.6 millimeters, and I did confirm that just a little bit ago. 2.6 millimeters, which, in case you're curious, the grip stand is 3.6, but the PopSocket kickout is 7.6. The old OhSnap is 2.5. Still thinner, but that is not the most recent version, which is 3 millimeters thick. I was not expecting PopSocket to put out something like this. And what's more, beyond it just being an incredibly thin grip, it's also a stand. Like, they only just came out with the kickstand, but now they have a much thinner stand, which of course is sad for OhSnap, who only just finally put out a stand on theirs and is now a millimeter thicker. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. So very similar to all of these. This just kind of pops up here like that, and it's got this some sort of rubberized plastic going on in here. Really just a very intelligent design as far as space considerations are concerned. As you can see, it like puffs out and fans out, and then when it collapses down, it goes down like that to make room, which is how it gets itself so thin. And just like any pop socket, you only have the option of holding it like this. So that is something OhSnap still has over the PopSocket, in that you can hold it like that, or, you know, you can put your finger through it and hold it in that fashion, which I personally prefer. Now, another interesting thing about this Low Pro grip, I keep wanting to call it the Low Pro Go grip, but it's not, it's just Low Pro, is that it actually has more clearance here in between top and bottom than an actual PopSocket. This is about 20 millimeters. 22.8 to bottom, like that. 21.2. So there's something like 1 to 2 millimeters more clearance on this than there is for actual PopSocket. So really, at least to me, it is superior to the PopSocket in every single way, except for the thing that PopSocket still has going for it over other grips in its customizable tops. Now, if you've seen any of my other PopSocket reviews, and it's okay if you haven't, you don't need to go do homework, I do not find PopSockets particularly comfortable. I do find this mildly more comfortable. I personally do not like grips where I have to put them in between my fingers. You know, you say it's 2 millimeters more clearance. That is 10% more clearance, which is probably a better way to think about it. And you come up with a pretty good little super thin grip. Incredibly thin. Like, look at that. Can we focus? Look how thin that is. That's insanely thin. I did not think PopSocket had something like this in them. I honestly did not. And this is a good stand too. Like, this is solid. Now, one thing that is of note is that unlike a lot of grips like this does not turn. This does not spin. So any spinning you're doing with friction against your fingers. There's no two ways about that. But like a lot of grips like this, it does have magnets, but they do not appear to be particularly strong. Let's compare it to the OhSnap grip stand. And there are complaints about the OhSnap grip stand sometimes not sticking to gym equipment, and that is how well it sticks to this. So this is capable of sticking, it just isn't capable of also holding up my phone while doing so. 17, 16.2, 17.7. So let's say 17 newtons on average compared to the PopSocket. Okay, I don't understand that. 30.8, and it stuck to the magnet rather than coming off. Now that's something that OhSnap did work to rectify in their model, which is why I think they have alternate facing magnets to do that, which is also probably why it has a hard time staying on gym equipment. But, right, so you've got like a car mount, so I think you'd feel pretty confident with this on a car mount. I'll have to perform the fridge test later and insert it right here. So, note to you, Steve, do the fridge test. So we are passing the fridge test easily with the PopSocket. I guess I will not be using the whiteboard anymore as any sort of indicator. Does this do charge through? I don't even know. Doesn't hurt to try. Yeah, doesn't look like it. I think between these two, there are trade-offs. Obviously, the PopSocket wins on thinness, but I feel like the OhSnap wins on comfort just because of options. They are both quite good at being stands. So this is really going to come down to preference. Now, I have mine in boring black, but this does come in a variety of colors. Unfortunately, the only store around me that was carrying them right now had like 30 of them, but they were all black. I do not understand. All right, and given the fridge test, this does receive the seal of excellence. Very impressed with this, and it does manage to be cheaper as well. So it's got that going for it on top of everything else. I wouldn't say way to innovate, because you didn't, but way to beat them at their own game, I guess. And hey, if you're interested, this is a playlist of my MagSafe accessory reviews. My name has been Steve. This has been another Purple Room review, and I will see you in the next one.